Welcome to Discussions with the Writer Fred here at Black Video News in good old San Antonio, Texas. Well, we just went through a gruesome, bruising
Absolutely.
midterm election. And so today I have a special guest, Mr. William Johnson, who's been on the executive committee of the NAACP here. He's very much a community activist, and he's been a precinct chair for the Democratic Party. So we're going to discuss how the midterm elections are going to impact, good or bad, the Black community. And so what I want to do, Mr. Johnson, is let's start out looking at the national scene.
Okay.
And let's start with the election, or the still going on election in Florida, for Mr. Gilliam and the DeSantos. What do you think is behind that vote that Gilliam doesn't seem to have won? What happened there, and how is that going to impact us?
Well, I think either way it goes, I think we will have won in a certain sense.
How's that?
Well, this gentleman ran such a good race, Fred. I mean, in the state of Florida, of all places, he stood strong. He made heck of a case for his positions on the issues. He was sharp. He was alert. He didn't allow them to trip him up, or trick him up in any way. So it has been shown to young Black people and others, he's a role model of sorts, that it can be done.
But it wasn't done.
No, I understand, but it still can. I think there's hope still. See, he planted a seed of hope, it seems to me.
Okay.
Even in not winning, I mean, it's a step forward.
What part do you think the president played in that?
Well, it's unfortunate.
Campaign.
It's unfortunate, but the president appears to have influence over an awful lot of non-thinking people. I don't believe these people are thinking at all. They are being used, quite frankly, and they hear something from him, and they tend to go into lockstep. A case has been made, however, that when the Democratic side, for example, is enthused and excited about coming out, that he has a way of bringing out those on his side as well. So it's an interesting situation.
But isn't that kind of frightening, at least to me, that those folks are winning? The Trump supporters, these are the rednecks, the folks that don't like us. And he appeals to them.
Well,
and you might be able to say the difference in the brother winning in Florida is that vote.
Well, there's no question about that in America today. I don't think we can argue with that. But we just got to overwhelm the other side with numbers. We can't sit here and say that all folk on the right side, decent people on the left, voted. Many of them sat home, stayed at home. So until we can get these people out to overwhelm this situation, I believe we may have it in numbers, I'm told. But as far as attracting the people to get out and do it, that's another matter. So it's a challenge, and we got to continue to work on that one. But
so how is that going to affect? DeSantos owes us nothing, is probably his attitude.
Sure, correct.
And so that's going to have a direct effect on Black people in Florida with him being the governor.
Well,
I'm not saying Scott was much better.
I understand.
Yeah.
I suspect it will, but we as a people have gone through. There's nothing that can be thrown at us today that we haven't been through. We're still here, still standing. So I believe Black folk in Florida and other people of goodwill will survive. Just a matter of determining that they're going to do that and look forward to next time around. Because there will be another day. So just got to be hopeful.
Do you think that's going to discourage young Blacks, not just young Black, but Black?
Yeah.
They put all their energy. It looks as though they had hope of winning, and they don't. And I wonder, is that going to discourage them not to want to vote in 2020, which would be a disaster?
Yeah.
Because if Trump is the candidate, we're going to need all the Black votes we can to help beat him.
And other people of goodwill. We're not just in this alone. There's an awful lot of other folk as well, who are decent-minded, fair-minded folk who will be voting in the right way, I believe. I hope it doesn't discourage them. If it does, then that means that they really weren't for real in the first place, it seems to me. So they got to
Well,
work with
no,
them some more.
they were encouraged
Yeah.
because you had a
I understand.
young black dynamic guy
Sure, sure.
who, to me, obviously, I think he was the best candidate.
Oh, absolutely.
And again, it didn't work out for them.
Well, it's called life. A lot of things in life doesn't work out for
I
you,
hear
but,
you.
but you can't take your marbles and go home. So I think these folks are, grown-ups and that they'll understand that. Come back next time ready to go.
Okay, let's talk about Stacey Abrams in Georgia.
George, yes.
She put up a heck of a fight also. And it does
Absolutely.
look like she's going to come out on the small end of it.
It
Do you
appears
look
that
at that one the same way, that race the same way?
Pretty much. They both very, very good candidates. This lady came out of the Florida Senate, ready to go. The most very, very articulate, solid. She didn't give up. She was solid. She was serious, and everybody who really wanted a decent individual to serve as their governor voted for her. Those who did not, I believe, many of them voted against her, because of who she is as an individual as opposed to the issues. So she ran a good race, couldn't have done it any better in my opinion. And the folk in Georgia can, just like the people in Florida, look ahead to the future because she has shown the folk that it can be done if the system would allow. But of course, they, I believe, disallowed a lot of votes.
But
there.
that's the key right there.
Okay.
I think that's what turns people off,
Okay.
if the system will allow.
Yeah, that's okay.
And so they can come back and say, well, why should we try?
Yeah.
Because the system's not going to allow us to win.
Well, I guess we wouldn't be free today and able to eat a hamburger at Jay's Joint if someone had thought the first time you went in, they kick you out and we won't go no more. You got to keep trying. You got to keep going back, and we're the best example of continuing to go back, never give up. And I believe eventually things will pan out. I guess I'm an optimist.
Okay, with your optimism, how do you look towards 2020? Do you support, you have a number of blacks who are talking about running. Booker's one out of New Jersey,
Yeah.
Pamela Harris out of California, even the former,
Vice President?
well, I'm talking about the blacks
you
right
mean,
now.
yeah, sure.
Even the former Attorney General is thinking
Eric
about,
Holder? I didn't know.
yeah, is thinking about
Okay, yeah.
running.
Sure.
Do you think the Democratic Party would get behind a black candidate this soon after having had a black president?
Yeah, I think the party. I don't think that's a concern to the party as a whole. No, I really don't believe so. I don't believe they would look at it that way. For me personally, I would be looking at the big picture, quite frankly. It wouldn't be all about race per se. It would be about the person that I believe is going to have the best chance of bringing it home. We don't know who that is, but I would certainly have to wait and see. It's too far ahead of time now to make a decision.
You think so?
But we got
they're
a
already
number-
they're already lining
Yeah,
up.
yeah, we got a lot of. Well, we got a local former mayor here lining up,
Yeah,
and in my opinion, I think it's too soon. Really, I'm just,
for you to delve
I-
into that subject.
no, I think it's too soon for him to be considering, the top spot.
Oh, for 2020, you
Absolutely,
think it's too soon for
absolutely. In
him?
my opinion, he.
Well, what about Cory Booker? He's only been a senator.
Well, I understand. Senator is a little different than Secretary of Housing. To my mind, he's been a legislator at the highest level. But no, Cory Booker is different. However, I think that office really requires more than just visibility. It requires a certain something. And sometimes you can't put your finger on it, but you know it when you see it.
You know it when they don't have it, because Trump doesn't have it.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't have it in terms of his position on the issues as I see them, but obviously he has it for 40% of the people. So that's he's still standing.
Well, don't you find that a little scary?
Well, somewhat, but that's our system.
I'm not talking about the system.
Okay.
I'm talking about a little scary that many people still support that guy.
Well, yeah, I do. Particularly people that you thought would have, would stand up. Absolutely scary. We just don't know whether this democracy is going to last or not. But I believe I heard somebody say the life of a democracy is limited anyway to 400 years or less or something like that. and so we're not going to last
We're a little
forever.
halfway.
We're
We're
not
halfway there. You know, what frightens me about
Mhm.
Trump is these challenges
Mhm.
to the Constitution. First, he challenges the 14th Amendment.
Correct.
Now he's challenging the the approval clause that a cabinet member has to go through the Senate. These are challenges to the Constitution. Why does that frighten me? Because if he can win these challenges to the Constitution now, in 2020, he may challenge the Constitution that there has to be an election.
I understand.
Now, I don't put it behind, you may not think he'd do that. I don't put it beyond him to be able to try to do that. He doesn't have much respect for our democracy. I don't think.
No, you're right. I agree. It is very scary the way what he's doing, but he has made some shrewd moves. We must admit, placing those judges in positions, and that's going to come back to really haunt us, I suspect.
Well, yeah, considering that,
This,
I've been in the political game for a long time.
sure.
Haven't worked on Capitol Hill.
Okay.
I have never seen one person have control of all branches of the government the way he does. I mean, the Senate guys are spineless.
Yeah, they are.
And so what won't they go along with for this guy?
I can't see anything that they want because they've gone along with, pretty much whatever. And
You know, Kavanaugh should not been confirmed.
correct. However, though, some folk wearing dresses voted for him as well.
Well, this is bad.
I'm just
In
saying.
fact, they may be a little worse.
Well, I'm just saying. See, this thing is really, it's unlike anything we've ever seen before. It's new territory for America.
And then the way he went after the black candidates,
Yeah.
talking about their ability to do the job.
Well,
Then he goes after three of our media people.
sure. Yeah. He has done a heck of a lot. I think he said that the gubernatorial candidate in Georgia, Stacey Abrams, wasn't qualified. Well,
Yes.
if she isn't, who the heck is?
Graduate of Yale University.
But other than that, that's for the people of Georgia to decide. Anyway, but what he's doing, he's planting a seed in the mind of his folk. Let me say it along the way that he loved the uneducated. And so he loved them because he can just plant a seed and these people jump all over it. And that's why. I mean, it's a real shame, but in some ways you really can't blame him. He's trying. He doesn't have to get away with it, but the fact he gets away with it, we gotta,
Are you optimistic about 2020 for the Democratic Party? For the Democratic Party, let's say.
well,
And I'm just assuming I say Democratic Party
I understand.
because I'm saying my assertion
Sure.
is that Donald Trump, aside from all his bragging about the
Sure.
unemployment in the black community,
Sure.
is not good for the black community.
no, I don't believe ultimately he is. I'm cautiously optimistic about 2020 for Democrats. There's still some time to go. But this guy is so smart he's slick and he's put up something now in terms of dealing with the criminal justice system in a way that's a positive thing for black folk, in my opinion. The criminal justice system, there's a lot's happening there that has hunted our people and sent a lot of people up the creek forever, for a long, long time, Fred. And supposedly, he's looking at doing something about that. So he's a mixed bag of sorts, unless he's just that smart. I don't know what's
This
going
is
on.
very interesting on that bill.
Uh-huh.
They hold a press conference on it before it even goes through Congress.
I understand. He's getting the most publicity possible he can.
it may not make it through Congress.
I understand, but this is the way he operates.
But he's going to look good.
Huh?
He's going to look good. You usually have those conferences when you're signing it into law.
Absolutely. He's totally different. Plus, before the election, he said something about a middle class tax cut.
And it didn't happen.
Of course not, but he planted that seed, Fred. I mean, the guys, you got to give him credit. He's really out front on this done stuff.
I'm sorry, sir. I don't care what he does. I cannot give him credit.
Well, by credit, I mean, in other words, he's taken a page out of a different book on this whole thing, but it's interesting, but it's scary at the same time.
I think he's a danger to our democracy. I think he's a danger to our Constitution.
I agree. Danger to the world, ultimately,
Yeah.
because a guy like that is subject to start, another conflict,
Yeah.
for no reason. And there we go again.
Okay, we'll leave Trump alone.
All
now,
right, okay,
And when we
okay.
come back from our break, we're going to look at our local elections.
Very
okay?
good. Thank you.
We'll be right back with
All
you
right.
here on Discussions with the Writer Fred.
Okay, be back.
40% of food in America is never eaten.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education? What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills. The smarts? Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself? What are you gonna make of me?
Nothing to do this week? Don't miss another event. Go to blacksinsanantonio.com for our event calendar. The home of the largest business directory in San Antonio with an African American focus. Sign up today for our weekly e-blast and text message alerts. Help us make this a better community. Connect, empower, grow.
Welcome back to Discussions with the Writer Fred here at Black Video News. We're into a really good discussion with William Johnson, a community activist, political leader in the city. And so this should be good because we're going to talk about our local politics now.
All right.
So let's start with the Jones-Hurd race.
Yeah.
For, I believe, it was the 23rd Congressional District.
Sure.
Yeah. Are you satisfied with the outcome?
Well, very, very, very tight race, and I believe that has been decided, right, for Hurd.
Well, she's still challenging. She's
Yeah.
losing, but she's challenging.
Well, I suspect, it's Hurd. I mean, she ran a good race, and she can be proud of the race that she ran, it seems to me. And Hurd, on the other hand, there's much worse candidates, really, than Hurd. I mean, he's not your ideal, but he's not the worst in the world either, doesn't seem to me. So I think he's someone that the people, can survive with. But no, it was a good tight race. She ran a good race, and I wish her well in the future.
Hurd doesn't excite people. At least, let me say, I can only speak for myself.
I understand.
Hurd didn't excite me at all as a candidate.
Okay.
And so therefore, I don't have,
Sure.
I don't usually support candidates that support Trump's policies
Okay. Yeah.
or Republican policies.
I understand.
And one thing that bothered me about Hurd is his vote against Obamacare.
Yeah.
Over and over again against it.
Yeah. I agree. He's using bad judgment from time to time, but he hasn't tied himself to the Trump train, if you will, like some. So
Well,
I guess,
they put a lot of money from Washington in on both these candidates.
yeah.
And so if Hurd's getting a lot of money from D.C., that's probably means that
Yeah.
they feel he's in their camp, and that bothers me.
Okay, it bothers me too. But the fact that Ortiz Jones ran such a tight race, I think he's not going to forget that, and let's hope the system works in that he will act accordingly. Having run a tight race, it wasn't any free race, so he didn't get a free ride.
And that's primarily, I would think it's heavily Hispanic, isn't it?
Well, 23rd District is
Goes all the way to El Paso?
Some, yeah, it's a huge district, one of the largest, and I really don't know the composition, but I suspect running all up to El Paso and such, a number of Anglo people in the San Antonio sector, certainly. But very few black people when you really look at it. But Hurd being half black seem to be hanging in and doing it, saying what they need to say as a professional. And he's the representative, and I think he won't forget that they're nipping at his heels, and he'll act accordingly.
You would hope he would.
Yeah, I would hope so. Absolutely. Yeah.
What about, and what bothered me about Jones, one thing is how she used her mother in her ads.
Yeah.
Mother having cancer and how she came to her. To me, that's beyond the pale. I don't think that you should.
Okay.
That should be off limit. Plus, what about the charge? Maybe you can address this because I could never get anyone to answer this. Hurd's people were saying that she doesn't live in San Antonio. She lives in D.C. Do you know if that's true or not?
I'm not sure. I suspect that was up to the people in the district to decide.
Right. Yeah.
And ultimately, that's who makes the decision. So obviously, she's a valid candidate, legitimate candidate. So I'll just have to go with that.
Okay, fine. All right, let's turn to one of the big ones that caught national attention.
Yeah.
Beto and O'Rourke and Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz. Yeah.
What happened there?
Oh,
why couldn't we win that?
Oh, what a race! I mean, that was just the most dynamic candidate we possibly could have.
But he got beat.
Well, he did, Fred, and I hear you. But he'll probably be back, I suspect, in one shape, form, or fashion.
What went wrong?
Again, the people didn't get out. You got a lot of Hispanic people, I'm told, they have the numbers in this state.
They sure do.
But they are not stepping up. That's a sleeping giant, if you will. I believe black folk, percentage-wise, vote in a larger percentage, far, far more than they do. And they have the numbers here. So they let him down, but he did all he could possibly do, this man Beto. And he has every reason to be proud. Doesn't have to hang his head at all.
What's it look like for him in the future? We were talking about in the last segment of presidential candidates.
Sure.
Do you think that he's going to be...
A part of me would rather not see everybody and his brother trying to become president. I mean, there's so much else you can do to make a contribution to the people. You don't have to be president to make a contribution. I mean, come on. How about governor of Texas? I'd love to see him kick out, something else. You don't need to be you don't have to be a president. Everybody and his brother, no, I don't buy that.
That might be other people speculating what he's going to do.
Well, perhaps. I hope not. Resist that temptation. Do something else. Don't put your hat. We'll have 25 Democrats running for president.
Well, you're going to get that. You know that. Because all going to think that Trump can be beat.
Well, I know, but I hope not. But I would suggest otherwise.
One thing I like
but they're not listening to me.
One thing I like about my friend William Johnson, he's very optimistic. he looks at the bright side of things.
The glass is half full.
The glass is not half empty. It's half full.
Yeah. That's right, man. Yeah.
So you think Beto has a future?
I believe so. Absolutely. He's a relatively young man, and he has it together. So yeah, I believe he does. He's capable of raising money. Doesn't have to take money from the big boys and such. So no, he absolutely does.
Well, you do know if he runs for president, he's going to take money from the big boys.
Well, but he can do it in an Obama-like fashion.
Obama took money from the big boys.
I understand, but I said in an Obama-like fashion. I mean, he didn't just sell his soul. I don't believe. To these folks.
You sell your soul when you take money from the big dude. I don't care what you say.
I understand, Frank. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's. But no, I think he'll surface again, though, somewhere, somehow.
Somewhere.
Yeah. Hopefully in the near future.
Well, since we're talking about candidates running for the presidency, I understand our ex-mayor and the head of HUD is thinking about Castro. Is thinking about throwing his head into.
Yeah, my understanding that's correct. I hear he's gone to Iowa, and he's stumbling around there and around, what have you. Thinking about putting his hat in the ring. He may announce in the near future. So, that's his prerogative. If he feel like he wants to join the run for the president, I mean, he absolutely can.
He got your support yet?
Well, not yet.
He's local.
I understand, but that's not quite enough for me. I'm just not sure yet. But sometime, to run for president as a serious candidate, there's no need to run if your chances aren't very good of succeeding. Just to run to say I ran, that's not good enough. Sometime I would hope these people are not running just to say I ran too, because I wouldn't waste my time that way. But I don't know.
You think he has a chance?
Well, I guess he thinks he does.
Well, do you think he does? I got.
I don't.
William Johnson. I told you William Johnson is the optimist. He's not going to go there.
No. I mean, I don't. I don't have my. My guessing hat on today, so I'm not sure.
That's not your guessing hat.
No, as a hometown fellow, I wish him well. But
now, if there was ever a political statement just made, he just made one. He just made one. I wish he well. Okay, we'll leave it at that.
All right.
Let's turn to something. Three propositions got a tremendous amount of attention here in San Antonio.
Yeah, they did.
Proposition A, which was the proposition to to extend the referendum.
Well, it was going to reduce the number required to put it on the ballot and extend the time for them to get it together. So yes, that's what it would do.
Would you share with us how you felt about that amendment?
Well, I voted yes. I believe in democracy. I believe in people's power. And I voted yes because I trust the people, really. So I had no problem embracing what appeared to me to be a democratic approach to doing things. Let the people vote.
I voted no because I don't trust the people.
Well.
I don't trust the people the way you trust the people.
All right.
And I think our history would tell us that we have reason not to trust the people.
I understand.
It only takes a majority vote.
Yeah.
And throughout history, that majority vote has always worked against us.
Yeah.
Especially in the South.
Sure.
It was only the Constitution that came along and saved us.
Yeah.
So do I trust the voters in Texas? No. Not at all. I think, let's say they put on a referendum to bring back those stupid Confederate statutes. I think it might win.
Well, I disagree. Last time I checked, Bexar County was blue, one of the bluest in this state. Given that, the numbers are here. Now, if these people got to get off their duff to vote. If you don't vote, don't participate, you get what you deserve. So my position does require people to activate themselves and be in the system, be active.
Okay.
That's what it does. Now,
Okay.
if you can't meet that challenge, then vote no and just do it that way.
Okay, very good. Let's go to the second proposition. I think we agree on that one.
Sure.
Yeah, that was the one to limit the number of years that a city manager, and didn't it put a ceiling on how much they could make?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, future city manager had nothing to do with Cheryl Scully, but future manager.
That was the only flaw I saw in it. But other than that, I saw it was a good amendment.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I voted yes on that as well. What it would do is, I understand that there was an 8-year limit to the period of time they can work, along with salary would not exceed 10 times the lowest city employee's salary. Right now it's $31,000.
Still might be too high.
Times 10, which is $310,000.
Still might be too high.
Well, but I'm reasonable, so I think that's reasonable.
There's your optimism.
So yeah, $310,000 as opposed to $500,000 now. But of course, people were scaring the people about the the bond rating and all that sort of thing. Nuremberg and these fellows did a heck of a job of scaring some of the people, but it didn't frighten me. So I feel like, that's okay. Although I have no issues personally with Cheryl Scully. personally.
You're one of the only people who doesn't.
Well, I'm just saying.
Everybody seems to have a problem with
Well, I
Cheryl
know,
Scully.
but I want the record to show that I don't have a personal
Okay.
issue with Cheryl.
Okay,
I
good.
see her as a professional.
Okay.
The Cheryl
good.
that I've known, and I've known, back when I was down there, as a pro, and oftentimes we find ourselves on the same side on some important issues too. So,
All right, very
this
good.
thing is mixed up,
How about C? Preposition C.
Yeah. C had to do with providing the ability for the
Mandatory.
firemen to
Mandatory arbitration.
go to arbitration. Yeah, mandatory
And the
arbitration.
city had to go to mandatory arbitration.
Yeah, absolutely. Fireman's in the driver's seat on that one. Many people were quite skeptical on that. Matter of fact, that one passed, but it received the lowest number of votes
Votes.
in passing because it is something to think about. But yeah, that's correct. The
Why
firemen,
would the city go to arbitration? It's too bad we had to make it a proposition for the city to sit
Well-
down and go to arbitration
Well,
with the folks that are fighting the fires in our city.
well, as I understand it, arbitration is not new. As you know, I was on the Fire and Police Civil Service Commission
Right.
for a number of years, and arbitration was part of the mix. Even back then, see, firemen and police can go to arbitration, really, and that's what they did. They avoided the commissioners when it came to sitting as judges, which we could do. They always go to arbitration. However, in this case, they have, a direct route to arbitration dealing with the city in terms of bargaining. I'm talking personnel issues here for
Okay.
the most part. So the arbitration been part of the mix all along.
So you voted for that one?
Yeah, I did. I voted for all three. Yes,
Okay.
sure did.
The final. This is really local, but we just had an election for the NAACP, and I understand Dr. Hudspeth was the winner.
Yes, he did. Dr. Gregory Hudspeth, longtime member of this community. His daddy was former president of NAACP
Oh, okay.
back in the 70s.
Okay.
That's when I came aboard. Mr. Hudspeth, his dad was president. So yeah, he is the president. He's in the driver's seat. And with the help of the rest of us, we're hoping that he will provide some leadership that will lead us in
Do
the
you
right
think
direction.
he can?
Well, he's certainly capable. He's,
Do you think he will?
Well, it'd be hard for me to know, but I suspect as an alpha man, we always meet the challenge.
Oh boy!
And
I
I
hope
suspect-
myself up to that one.
And I suspect
I hope myself up to that
I
one.
suspect the brother will meet the challenge, but he will need assistance from the rest of us because he hasn't been around, too very, very long. So some people who have, can be helpful and useful in terms of trying to get things done from a civil rights point of view.
Well, the final point I want to bring up with you or discuss with you is, what do you think is the major issue confronting the NAACP that he should take on right away?
That's a good question. There are so many. I would love to see him. It's not just him, though. Let's understand.
Let's just concentrate on
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. But he can set some priorities,
But I'm looking for
Sure.
the major
I understand.
issue.
I would say the criminal justice system, the way it's not operating for us in Bexar County. We got a new DA, and based on what I've read and I've talked with him, I went to his victory party, Joe Gonzalez. So, yeah, and I see him as an individual who's open to some changes that's going to be beneficial, to many of our people here in Bexar County leading that office. But I believe the criminal justice system, our people are not being treated fairly by the system, including the lawyers that are being paid by our tax money to represent them. And then the system itself, they tend to get the person to plead even when they're not guilty, because that's a shortcut to the lawyer making the money and the system moving on. It's a heck of a system. So I think I'd like to see him tackle that first.
I tell you what, let's do this. We're out of time today.
Yeah.
But I keep hearing that over and over again.
Yeah.
So let's do a show on that, okay, on the criminal justice system.
Okay.
Because I hear that, but I'd like to see more specifics.
Yeah, I
Why
think
is the criminal justice system so designed? And you hear it all over the country.
Yeah,
The criminal
yeah.
justice system designed against black people.
Yes.
And at some point, it almost becomes like rhetoric to
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
And we need to look more at specifics.
I understand,
Why.
I understand.
So I'm going to invite you back on that show in the
Okay.
future.
All right.
So, but right now, you want to give us some closing remarks about the election? How
Well,
you feel about it? What's going to happen going forward?
I feel good about it, particularly here in Bexar County. Speaking of criminal justice system, we have 3 black judges,
Right.
something that we never had before. 3 black women in this case, and I think they'll do good. 2 at the county court level, 1 at the district court level. Stephanie Boyd at the district court level, she has run before, and she received a couple of thousand more votes than the other 2 who were running for the county court level. Grace Ozumba, sister from the homeland, and military retired, paratrooper, I believe.
Okay.
Sister ready to go. She's county court, and Yolanda Huff. So that's that. So I feel good about that part, but we've got to really start to keep our eye on this whole system, this whole package, and start to not just allow them to think that we are all one mind on everything.
Okay.
Yeah. We got to let them understand we're individuals, thinking individuals, and that we're holding them accountable
Okay.
for getting our vote.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you coming in.
All right, sir.
Yes. And
Thank you.
in closing, let me just remind everyone that it is very important that we keep the momentum going and growing for more blacks to vote, so that we can put our candidates in office that are going to best serve us and do what's best for us. In the meantime, this is Fred Williams, Discussion with the Writer Fred, signing off, telling our story our way.